What's going on, everybody? My name is Zay. I'm an admin in the Uptop trading community. And for this video, I'm going to be explaining liquidity and order blocks, specifically just liquidity and order blocks. Quick definition of what liquidity is a certain stock reaches a range of a price and it either rejects or it supports it. It really does not like that specific range. And we can definitely see it within all the time frames we do, all the way from weekly, monthly, all the way down to the 1 minute. And it is very big. It's a big catalyst for day trading. And I really like Tesla. Tesla will give you a lot of liquidity examples, but we will run through a couple of stocks. We'll run through Tesla. And I do also want to target Qs as well. And if you know me, I love trading Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Qs, all of the tech stocks. So for instance, right here, this is Tesla's daily chart. So in order to actually explain an order block, we'll dive into order blocks first because order blocks come before liquidity. An order block is when a stock reaches a certain price point and it ends up either flushing from that price point or it spikes from that price point. So just for example, if I'm looking at Tesla right here, right, you can see that it's obviously making lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. Let's see what the catalyst is for that specific lower high. Obviously, with this green dotted line down here, this is earnings. Earnings is not really a big catalyst. It's whether they either hit or miss, and it's more into the actual stock politics. It's not technical. But what we can do is look at this lower high. If I end up just putting this specific range, right? So what we're looking at is this black candle right here. Let me actually put in an arrow, and then I will do that. We're looking at this specific black candle right here. As we can see from this specific black candle, if we mark it from wick high to wick low, and this is also the daily time frame, keep that in mind, we ended up making an impulsive move downward, right? So what does that tell me? This is actually an order block. And if I want to run over the definition again, an order block is when a stock hits a certain price point and it ends up either flushing from there or it ends up spiking from there. So a couple of characteristics why I say it's an order block. One, it made an impulsive move downward, right? So it ended up going down. What we can see that this will also give us confirmation that it is an order block. We ended up flushing from there. This is the impulsive move. And then we ended up retesting this specific range, right? So we retested this specific range right about here within this wick. So we came within this specific price point and we ended up flushing even more from there, and also created gaps on the daily time frame. And this is very impulsive, extremely impulsive. So let me get a path going. Where is the path? So explaining an order block, this is an order block. We ended up coming down at this price point, came back up at this price point range within this blue leveled range, and then we ended up spiking all the way down from there. So if you come across finding this within a daily time frame, bigger time frames, the bigger the breakout, which is what what the owner of Uptop Trading Community, Drew, says a lot. The bigger the time frame, the bigger the pattern, the bigger the breakout. And this is the biggest time frame, well, for intraday trading, which is the daily. So I hope that did explain somewhat of an order block. Let's see if we can find it within, I don't know, let's say the hourly. Let's say the hourly, right? So if we go back to this day, we see this on the daily time frame, right? Stock reaches a certain price point. How to go on lower time frames and see if it is an order block or not from the daily. We can see that there is a lot of selling pressure within these 2 wicks, and these are the hourlies. And this is intraday as well. My intraday is the clear gray. Post market and pre market is darker gray. So we saw that Tesla ended up coming up upside within the 271 between 279 time frame, and we ended up making an impulsive move down. So if I did want to trade this, right, we would end up seeing this. I would end up getting my short position. I would end up taking short positions, and this would look more or less like what it would, what my entry would be. And then if I actually want to scalp this, right, not swinging it, but scalping it, I would go down to shorter time frames, such as the 15-minute. Let me see. Let's scroll over here. Well, that's pretty far back. Okay. Perfect. So, perfect. All right. We ended up shooting up to this price target, but what these shorter time frames are telling me is that there's a lot of selling pressure from 274 range all the way down to 271.60, and that's within a 15-minute candle. So we can see that the price ended up getting outside of this order block. But what I want to see is more confirmation, right? Because this wick, once this wick closes, once this 15-minute candle closes, I would see that, okay, this is not a good entry. So what would I say? I'd say I'd wait. Yes, so before the audio ended up cutting out, this is what the order block would look like. Also, you can play it as the candle actually closing with volume at the bottom. There is volume within this black candle right here where the arrow's pointing at. But obviously we can see that it just means that there is volume within this candle. It's not bearish volume. So what we want to see is this fully closed candle, right? And we would take stop loss at the high of day. It would look something like this. We would get out, and our price points will be targeting either low of day or any other levels that you do have at the bottom. Let's go back to the hourly. Let's see what the hourly time frame is looking like. So we see that prices have reached this bottom, around this bottom, right? So this is 262 area. If I am playing this on the hourly, I would be targeting 262 area, just because this is a high probability for higher time frame. So let's get out, and then we would enter here. It would be a 2.6a risk to reward. Actually, we would target it 3 to 1 risk to reward, which is great. I like high probability setups with less risk and very high reward. So you can end up getting out of your position or scaling out of your position comfortably. So that is order blocks. Let me go on to Qs. And let's go to, let's say for instance, we want to scalp, right? Let's say for instance, we want to scalp. If we want to actually scalp, right here, this is perfect. This was today, right? This was perfect. So we are on the 5-minute time frame. We're on the 5-minute time frame. We end up going up, right? We're rising. I also want to throw on an EMA. For people that don't know, an EMA is exponential moving average. It just shows how hard the stock is trending, and you can quote unquote ride the EMA. You can ride the 8, ride the 9, whichever EMA that you like. I like the 8 personally. But if we do just take this off, if we just take this off and look at this chart with nothing in it, right? You can literally play this as order block territory. So we rise up, and then we are lessening on our volume. We see that price was stagnant right here. And then we ended up spiking up from here, right? So what does this tell me? This will tell me that this candle, this white candle right here, is an order block. Because, why is it an order block? Because the price at the end of the day ended up coming within this range, did not shoot out below this range, and it spiked up once again. So, for instance, if I do a recap, tomorrow I would be looking at this range. If Qs does come down to 404.76 to 404.43, I would be looking for a reaction within this range, whether it respects it or it rejects it, either one. But that is how you would scalp an order block. Let's see if we can look at one more before. So, let's see, let me just look. Okay, so this is perfect too, actually. This is perfect. So, what do we see up here? We see that the stock ended up trending upwards. If we add our EMA, you can end up just getting in some calls at the bottom and riding it all the way up until it breaks the EMA. But this is good because I want to see price reach this candle, because this candle is an order block to me, in my opinion. Recap of what an order block is. It is an impulsive move down. We end up retesting that specific price range and we reject it coming down. This is for bearish movement. With that being said, you can see the price actually doing this. When it gets up to this range, we would want to target some type of bottom that it did have, which this would be perfect. We can end up getting in our position. We would do a stop loss a little bit above the high of the order block, because that would be considered a sweep, which will be explained in the next video. And you can target a specific low, any low or any level that you do have. But this is a perfect trade because we are riding the EMA. If we also throw on VWAP, VWAP is volume weighted average price, which is also a great indicator. Let's throw it in as a different color. Let's do red. So we can target VWAP, but this is an order block. Impulsive move down, come back up within this range, and then we ride the A down all the way to specific targeted price points down here. I would target 397.5 just because this is where I see that there is a possibility of a reversal. So I would target this range between 397.77 and 397.47. And you can see that it actually hit and swept our TP, which is an amazing, amazing trade. So that, my friends, are order blocks. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.